Well, hello, hello, everybody. This is Krista Lynn, Cowgirl Astrologer, and I am doing this Google Air monthly forecast. I'm doing something a little different this month, mainly because we are in the middle of Mercury retrograde, and I've been having some problems with my editing board and computer and having a hard time getting my 12 videos out. And I was starting to feel really frustrated because, you know, we like to stay on what we know and what works. And I just kept getting really this message from inside of me that kept saying, you know, there's a lot going on right now. And there's a lot of changes, and we're getting ready to transform into, you know, really a whole new cycle. And I just keep getting this image of like landing the plane. And we are really right now coming out of Saturn and Scorpio. We're in the last days. We're really looking honestly about another 8 weeks, but this is a 2.5-year cycle. And I just have this really strong feeling that, you know, I want to help you guys and myself land this plane in a little different way this next month. And I'm going to be coming on Google Air here. And if you can't join me live, you know, you can see the video. And I'm going to be coming on a few times a week and talking about the changes as they are happening. Instead of doing one video that describes the whole month, I want to talk about it as it's happening, because I think there's something powerful about that. There's so many changes. So even when we watch, you know, what the monthly, you know, forecast is, it's really hard to, you know, keep in timing with that. So I thought I'd try something a little new, basically because I got a blockage. And instead of, you know, being frustrated, I'm going to work around it. So hopefully you guys will work with me this month. I'm still learning how to do this Google Air, and let's see, there is a place where you can ask questions as I'm talking, and this just needs to be regarding the monthly forecast. If you guys have any questions, hey, what's going on for Aries, or, you know, maybe even share your experience, I might be able to answer some of those questions. So again, hopefully I will be able to do this pretty smoothly. And I will be announcing like the day before that I'm going to get on and give you guys a little heads up that I will be live. So if you want to jump on and chat and talk to me, and we're going to ride this plane gracefully down together. So the main thing I want to share with today, I'll share a little bit of astrology today, and then each time I come on, I'll be going in a little deeper, and I will be doing all 12 signs, a brief description. But I feel like it's important for us not just to know what's going on with us, but to get a feel for what's going on with our friends and family and partners and loved ones, because sometimes we need to be understanding. Sometimes we need to be able to understand what maybe somebody else is going through, or, you know, maybe it'll help us understand what we're going through. Also, I want to remind everybody that when you do listen to the different descriptions of things going on with each sign, pay attention to the description of your rising sign, sun sign, and moon sign. I'll just give you kind of a big picture. Sometimes you'll relate more to one at the time than another, but typically, you know, your ascendant is going to be the strongest energy and themes. So let's take a look at what's going on. Interestingly enough, we've got Mercury getting ready to go retrograde in Scorpio. And we're in the last days of this Saturn and Scorpio. So let's just think about that theme for a minute. Let's just think about what could be happening. Now, over the summer, we had Mars move into Scorpio. And Mars stirs everything up. It's kind of like, you know, Saturn and Scorpio is here to teach us these deep, intense, truthful lessons. It's for all of us, it's been looking at the truth at the core of our being. For a lot of us, it's been looking at our psychological makeup. It's been looking at our childhood. It's been looking at wounds that maybe we've buried for years. Maybe we found a way to put them aside all these years. And the last 2 years, all of a sudden, you're facing things that, you know, are just so raw. And all of us have been dealing with these issues in different places. Now Mercury is going to come in Scorpio and go retrograde. So what is retrograde? So of course we hear the common descriptions, you know, don't sign contracts, you know, watch your computers, back up your computers. You know, all those things are true because Mercury is so electric. And when it's changing directions or doing its thing that it does retrograde, it's like the airwaves get real, you know, wiry. And, you know, even our intuitive communication, even our ability, even how we think about each other can get a little bit skewed. And yet at the same time, being that it's retrograde for the next 3 weeks, it could really give us a chance to really make sure that we're going to get the lessons that we need to get from Saturn and Scorpio. You don't want to go into the next Saturn cycle with leftover stuff because then it kind of compounds on the next Saturn. It's like you've got issues you're still dealing with. And here Mercury, the planet that rules communication and how our mind works, is taking us deeper one more time. So obviously the universe knows best of what we need. So I want to encourage everybody this month to, you know, let's take a breath. And October is going to be a little erratic emotionally because it's going to take us back to those thoughts and those things and unresolved issues and in relationships. And it's a good thing because there's a reason a lot of times that, you know, we haven't been able to see the whole picture. And Mercury just zeroes in on that picture. So I'm encouraging everybody right now to be willing to look. Is there anything you've missed? Is there anything still bothering you? Is there another way to look at it? Is there another way to see it? Because interestingly enough, right behind or within this Mars and Scorpio energy, Mercury and Scorpio energy, we've got Mars and Sagittarius. And we've got something revving us up. And I was talking before about Mars and Sagittarius kind of being like a precursor to Saturn in Sagittarius. What is the theme that's going to play out in your life for the next 2.5 years? Because Mars is kind of stirring that up right now. It's like Mercury's kind of going back and making sure that there's not going to be one stone undone that was meant to be done in this cycle. And it could be paperwork. You know, when I look at the different signs, let's take a quick look here. When I look at Aries, okay, Aries, Scorpio, Mercury and Scorpio is in your 8th house. Okay, so we're still dealing with paperwork. We're still dealing with contracts. We're still dealing with intimate relationships. What do they look like right now for you? Are you in a good place with them? Have you come so far? Is there some areas that you still need to take care of, or you still need to be honest about, or you still need to resolve? You know, the next 3 weeks, don't do anything more until you go back and really look that there's not any unresolved issues. And, you know, really look at where you are in your relationships, because Sagittarius, Mars and Sagittarius is in your 9th house of learning, spirituality, connection. Sometimes this can even represent father, some father themes going on. What's the next 2.5 years gonna look like for you? You wanna go into it ready for adventure, and you wanna get all the Scorpio and the 8th house issues out of the way. So you know what they are, you know, really look. What does 8th house represent? And, you know, be willing the next few months here, couple of months, to slow down and take care of business. It's kind of been the theme, but it seems to continue to be the theme. Now, Taurus, Mercury and Scorpio is in your 7th house. So now we're looking at our relationships. What about relationships coming back in? What about, again, unresolved issues? I mean, this is kind of going to be the theme for everybody. Is there anything that you need to revisit? Sometimes we can't see clearly in a relationship. You know, even when things are all going direct, we can't see clearly. With Mars in Scorpio during the summer, it might have really heated up some relationships, and maybe even in a really good way. Maybe you have a new relationship. Maybe somebody new has come in. But right now, with Mercury retrograde in that area, you're going to need to kind of now take a little closer look. It was hot and steamy in the summer, but, you know, what details do you need to look at about this relationship? If somebody's coming back into your life right now, you know, how do you want that story to end or be resolved or begin again? So these are all issues for you. And we've got now Saturn and Sagittarius will be moving into your 8th house. Mars in Sagittarius right now is in your 8th house. So now it's really about that area of freedom. You know, that area of freedom. You might have even felt like you've been in a prison. And that 8th house with Mars there, what is it stirring up? Is it stirring up adventure? Is it stirring out something brave that you want to do? What is it stirring up? So that's important to look at. Gemini, Scorpio in your 6th house. Oh, you're probably going to be so happy to get Saturn and Scorpio out of your 6th house, your daily routine. Work, responsibilities, no fun. This is going to be a good time as this moves out. But Mars is in your 7th house of partnerships. So see how this is working, you guys? These are two themes that are playing very closely together. Go and look at your houses. If you don't know how to do that, I will put a link below. You do need to know your time of birth. But you need to take a look at what house what is in. Typically, for the Gemini, Scorpio is in your 6th house. So Mercury's there now in your area of daily routine. Again, just making you review everything. What does your schedule look like? Are you happy with how things are going? Because if you're not happy with how things are going right now, they're going to affect your relationships as Saturn moves in to Sagittarius. It's going to be a relationship theme. You know, there's going to be a lot of relationship issues around you. So this is a really important time to clean up the old and open for the new. And, you know, not to be scared, but to be excited. To be excited about these areas in your life, you know, being worked on. Because we can get stagnant. We can get depressed. We can lose hope. And as these cycles change, they bring new focal points. So I want to be here to encourage us all how to get through this, because I know it's hard. I know that it can be super difficult. And I talk to a lot of you guys right now, but I also see this excitement. I also see people ready to come out. So these are the two themes. So Leo, 4th and 5th house. You've got your home. And you've got your love and your romance. You've kind of been having to deal with heavy home issues the last 2.5 years. And right now, you're not quite out of the woods. Mercury's come in to really go back in there. And you know what, Leo, you guys like to be liked. You like to be free. You like to be able to walk in the room and feel good about everything in it. And, you know, it's just time. It's time to just make things right and let go. And get ready. What is Mars stirring up right now in Sagittarius in your life in your 5th house? Romance, entertainment, traveling. As Saturn moves in there, he might slow you down a little bit in that area so that you can't avoid those things that are deep in our heart. Because sometimes, as you know, we can get out there and avoid, and there's just not going to be much time to avoid, to get the most out of what's coming. So Virgo, 3rd and 4th house, communication and home. Mercury's now in your 3rd house of communication. So be careful out there what you're saying on the internet. You're going to be very intuitive, very psychic right now. So I want you guys to really pay attention. Be careful. You know what I do every time there's a Mercury retrograde? Fortunately, it hasn't been like anything I've written that I wouldn't want someone else to see. But it's like, you know, when you write a message to one person, sometimes I'll have several boxes open and I'll put the wrong message to the wrong person. And it's like, it's so embarrassing. I have to go, excuse me. I mean, this looks so dumb. But, you know, usually all my messages anyone pretty much could see. So, you know, pay attention to those little things. And, you know, pay attention to anything you're going to sign right now. Pay attention to making agreements with people. You know, maybe let it hold out into November a little bit. You know, start the ideas. If you have an old idea, maybe it'll come back in. Something you thought wasn't going to work and you put it aside, now might have a new life. So 3rd house stuff, communications, also family, sisters, relationships, cousins, traveling, you know, maybe a lot of you have had car problems the last 2.5 years, or getting out. Well, you know what? That's gonna start lightening up. You're gonna get out and you're gonna start being able to move. As Mars is in Sagittarius, Saturn's moving into Sagittarius, it's going to be about your home and getting your home really grounded so that you can have a stable place to springboard off of. You don't want your home to be in chaos when you're trying to step out into the world. And, you know, especially for women, you know, we want to get out in the world. And if our home life is chaotic or out of control, we don't rest. So find creative ways. Even if you have to hire someone to help you come in and clean, or help you a few days with the kids, if you're working and you're making money, pay for some help so you can take a breath. You're worth it. And a lot of good things are coming, Virgos. So, you know, start imagining what you want your home to look like, and, you know, be protective of your home. That's your home base. And, you know, home businesses right now are going to be big too, but there's going to be a lot of focus on keeping your home in order. Libra, 2nd and 3rd house, Mercury and Scorpio might be dealing with some financial issues. 2nd house is daily money. Go back and check things. Go back and check emails. Maybe there was business opportunities and you've missed them. Maybe somebody sent you a proposal and it got lost in the email. Pay attention to that stuff. Anything to do connected with money. If people owe you money, you know, you might need to tell them, come on, pay up, you know, take care of those things. Anybody you owe, you know, try to make payments or try to pay them or whatever you need to do. Get things cleared up right now. And 3rd house, Mars in Sagittarius, 3rd house. So now where, you know, Virgo has to be careful and, you know, pay attention to their, you know, real psychic connection. Libra has Mars in Sagittarius in your 3rd house. There's a little more aggression. And you need to really pay attention to your motives. What are you really saying? Are you really being authentic? Or are you double talking? Are you saying one thing but really sending through other messages, or have, you know, a way that you're, you know, communicating, needing to be right, needing to prove yourself, maybe very competitive in your arena out there. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be strong and competitive, but, you know, at what cost? Is it costing you who you truly are? Are you responding to things and doing it out of a competitive spirit? Because Mars can bring that aggression. Or, you know, maybe you've been shy or you haven't been out there. Mars in Sagittarius is going to liven up your communication, Libra. So yeah, get out there. Get out there. It's exciting. And your communication and how you work within the world through your advertising, through your, you know, connection to the world, to your local community, that's going to be the focus of Saturn and Sagittarius. Okay, so, you know, start thinking now, what do you really want this to look like? And I know I've been repeating myself a lot because these planets are changing very specifically, and they're not letting us get out of not dealing with these issues. It's kind of like, you know, with Mars and Scorpio this summer, he stirred up the issues. Now Mercury's having us go in the same issues and, you know, dot our I's and cross our T's. Okay, so that is important. It's like we've got a little more detailed work to do. Okay, Scorpio, first house. You're almost there, and you really should be taking a look at yourself and saying, wow, look how far I've come. And hopefully you're feeling more grounded. You know who you are. But, you know, right now you might be kind of still thinking about all that you've been through. You might even be feeling a little down. You might even be feeling sad at the loss. That happens. We grieve. You know, we grieve the things we have to let go of. I mean, all of us do. It's not easy. And even if they're not healthy for us and we have to let go of them, sometimes they're ripped out of our hands. You guys know that it still hurts. It's still a part of who we are, those relationships, those scenarios. It's our identity. And for Scorpios, your identity has been completely transformed. And nobody rises from the ashes like the Scorpio. So I just want to encourage you guys that you are really there. Those of you late Scorpios or late degree moon and sun sign Scorpios, there's a little more still with Saturn and Scorpio the next 8 weeks. So write it out with Mercury here to help you look at the deeper picture. Maybe you will suddenly see clearly now. Mercury can help us see things clearer or ways we never saw them before. And with Mars and Sagittarius, that's your second house. So now that you are this new person, how are you going to go out and exchange energy in the world with your new identity? Money will be new money, new opportunities. But that, you know, like everything, takes time and takes focus. So the next 2.5 years is going to be about, you know, how you are going to take this new identity and make money with it. You know, we all got to eat. So that's what's on the table. Sagittarius, Mercury and Scorpio is in your 12th house. Okay, so, you know, you're thinking back as well, and you might get a little isolated or feel like you need to take a break right now, or maybe you just need to think. Maybe you just need to take a few weeks here and think about everything. Saturn in the 12th house is hard because it's already a house of isolation and deep subconscious. So you've been, you know, and for Sagittarius who likes to get out and take off and, you know, don't look back, Saturn hasn't allowed you to do that. So right now Mercury's kind of having you look back a little more again too. But again, really challenge yourself the next 3 weeks to look at things with new eyes. And the exciting part is Mars is in your first house in Sagittarius. So this should be giving you a huge boost, like a Superman boost, you know, kind of like steroids, you know, zodiac steroids or something, planetary steroids, you know, before Saturn comes into that first house. So everybody needs to be really listening right now, so that we can really ride this together. And you know, it doesn't have to be so horrific if we can ride the energy. Let's see, I'm trying to end this up here. Capricorn in the 11th house. Capricorn, you know, your relationships, people are coming back in right now. Your dreams, hopes, wishes, ideas that you've had might be resurfacing, or ideas that you had might need a review, replay. Relationships might be coming in to give you an extra boost, an extra encouragement. And Mars, let's see, Mars, I don't know if I got this right. Let me go to Aquarius. Aquarius, Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio in your 10th house. So your review, you're under review right now with your work and how you're expressing yourself. You know, you're kind of been getting ready to get out too. And your work, you've been held back. So maybe you've got a contract right now. Maybe you've got a job right now. Maybe you've got something you're looking at. Read the little print. Make sure you don't dive into something that you don't know all the details, okay? because Mars in Sagittarius is going to be moving in, is in your 11th house. Okay, so relationships, all these things are stirring around. Pisces, Mercury in Scorpio in your 9th house, and Mars in Sagittarius in your 10th house. So, you guys, we are coming through this 2.5-year cycle. This 2.5-year cycle. And I don't know about you guys, but as a Pisces rising, my whole entire philosophies and faith and psychology and who I am has been totally recreated. I couldn't have even imagined how much I would have changed the last 2.5 years. If you could have told me in a dream, I would not have pictured that that could be me. And so this has been a transformational process. And Saturn's getting ready to move into our 10th house. And it's our work. It's our expression to the world. It's going to ask us to really know who we are. And we may have to be willing to stand up for who we are and what we believe. We may be asked to really know what that is. So those are just a few things, you guys. I'm kind of annoyed right now. Why am I having a hard time with Capricorn? For some reason, I feel like I got that wrong. But Capricorns, you also have Jupiter. I keep reminding you guys. Jupiter in Leo in your 8th house. So Capricorns are really getting ready to get out there with Pluto moving forward as well. So that's what I'm going to give you guys. I'm sorry. Usually I can edit myself when I lose my train of thought, but I'm not going to be able to do that. So you guys will get me as I am. I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry if I said anything that was, you know, doubled up or what have you. I'm just kind of going off my intuition and what I've been studying, what I've been preparing myself for. So anyway, I'm going to be coming back on. We're going to be talking about, we've got some big changes. We've got some more stuff coming on. So I'll be in next week and I'll put a little thing if you guys have questions, or if you want to put questions below, I will answer some of those questions for next week. You know, ask me. I want to interact with you guys and I want to really feel how you guys are doing, because, you know, these can be big, you know, tsunamis. And I think that if we're smart and we stick together and we encourage each other and we use our wisdom, we can ride this wave in pretty nice. Okay. So love you guys. If you are looking for a reading, you can book that. You can email me at crystalline68@gmail.com. And you can also find me at www.cowgirlastrologer.com and on Facebook. Come and visit me. So hope you guys are doing well. Leave questions below and I'll answer them on the next video. Bye, guys.